Hello and welcome to episode number 3 of JumpCast, the podcast from the award-winning team behind JumpCut Online. My name is Dave, I'm your host for today's episode, and I am lucky enough today to be joined by two debuts on JumpCast. First up, I've got our editor-in-chief, our supreme leader, Tom Sheffield. Hello Tom, how you doing?
Hello. Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
It's very exciting to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, it's very, very exciting. A first.
I bet a lot of people have been wondering what you sound like. Well, not really, because you had the whole Odyssey thing, but now
Yeah,
they know.
the unfortunate people saw my face on that one. At least this
Oh,
time. I've got a face for radio, so it's all right.
that's brilliant. Wow, you sound brilliant. And also, we have our Welsh wonder, who is Rhys Bowen Jones. Hopefully, I've said your name right. Hi, Rhys. How you doing, mate?
Hi, Dave. You did say it right. It's absolutely fine. Yeah.
Our main review today is Joker. But first, let's dive into some other movie news from this past week since we've been gone. First up, shall we talk about the big news that's happened since the last podcast? Spider-Man is back in the MCU. It's official. He is coming back. Rhys, are you excited?
I am excited. I think I was one of the few people who was genuinely concerned when the news broke that he wasn't going to be in the MCU anymore, because I was thinking that I think Venom is clearly a viable alternative to the MCU, and they were going to try and make Spider-Man Venom a thing. But I am really happy that he's back in there, and I can't wait to see what they do with Spider-Man 3, because Far From Home opened up so many possible what's it called, alleyways for the series to go.
It would have been a travesty if it ended there. And I was really worried Kevin Feige was going to do a Star Wars film or be involved in a Star Wars film, and I thought, well, that's it. No more Spider-Man. Did what they said, and when it's meant to come out. The film is meant to be scheduled for the release of July the 16th, 2021. Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal will produce together. He said, I'm thrilled that Spidey's journey in the MCU will continue, and I and all of us at Marvel Studios are very excited that we keep working on it. Icon and hero whose story crosses ages and audiences around the globe. He also happens to be the only hero with a superpower to cross cinematic universes. So as Sony continues to develop their own Spider-Verse, you never know what surprises the future might hold. Does that mean Venom's going to come in the Marvel universe, or does that mean it's going to stay separate? What do you reckon, Tom?
I'm sure I read somewhere that they're calling it sort of a shared universe. They've not really specified. Yeah, they've not really. It's kind of vague at the minute, but they are saying that it is going to be some sort of shared universe.
Because I can't see Venom ever being part of the MCU myself. I think it's just going to be Spider-Man will be in MCU and also jump over to do some Venom fighting.
I was at a talk the other day with Kevin Feige, Empire podcast. I should probably say who it was, and he was kind of talking about how he Downey signed on for 4, and they just kept going back to him, and obviously they had to keep renewing contracts and probably paying him more money, to be honest. But he was quite willing to do it. And Tom Holland might be similar, but which films do you reckon he's most likely going to turn up in? Do you reckon the Eternals, or
I think so.
I think he needs to turn up in the Doctor Strange sequel. I think with the multiverse aspect, it's kind of a way to get him out of the MCU. It's they could do some explanation.
does that mean more? What's the other one that Jared Leto's in? The Dracula one.
Morbius.
Morbius, that's it. Do you think he's going to be in that one as well, or?
Yeah, I think they should use his solo film to sort of tie up what happened at the end of Far From Home and play around with that. But then the Doctor Strange sequel is sort of where he exits the MCU, and it'd probably be explained better.
Absolutely agree. Could you imagine if in one of those, if in one of those like random multiverse hopping moments that might be in the film, you just suddenly see Venom in the background, and for like 30 seconds, that's it, and you're thinking, oh my god, that's the multiverse.
Our other piece of news, which for me and Tom's quite exciting, I'm not quite sure about Rhys is quite excited about, but Kevin Smith has announced that Clerks 3 is actually going to happen. and I'm just going to read what he put on Instagram. We talked about making a movie together. It'd be a movie that concludes a saga. It'd be a movie about how you're never too old to completely change your life. It'd be a movie about how decades spanning friendship finally confronts the future. It'd be a movie that brings us back to the beginning, a return to the cradle of civilization in the great state of New Jersey. It'd be a movie that stars Jeff and Brian O'Hanlon. Is that right? With me and Jay in supporting roles, and be a movie called Clerks 3. I'm not gonna lie, he said this before, hasn't he? But there's actually a picture of him hanging out with Jeff Anderson, which I think they've made up because they had fallen out or something. So
Yeah, because that was because I'm sure it was 2017 that um, they were meant to be filming Clerks 3, and there was some fallout between Kevin and Jeff, and yeah, he left. Jeff left the film, so obviously Kevin didn't want
yeah,
to
you
keep
can't
it
make
without
it be crazy.
What? So why? How is Clerks 3 different from Jay and Silent Bob?
Tom, go for it.
Because Jay and Silent Bob aren't the main characters.
But aren't they the same characters from Clerks 1 and 2?
It's a very
They're in
different
it,
film
but
to what. Have you seen Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
No, I haven't.
They
They are very
very
different films. Clerks is one of my all-time favorites. It's just
Really?
there's just something about it. Yeah, there's just something about it that it just clicks, and it's just one of those films. Nothing happens, but it's just everything else.
I'm a big fan.
Everything in it is just
I love the second one. I'm a
great.
big fan of that one as well.
I haven't seen the second one in a few years.
I think it's
actually.
aged well. It's a very, like I said, it's a very different. His Clerks and one and two are very different to say Jay and Silent Bob and his Morpheus and stuff. Dare I say, Clerks is definitely more of a proper movie. Don't shout at me. But compared to some of the other stuff, but this has been talked about for a while now, and I know earlier this year they did a charity event for a reading of a clerk script that was meant to happen but didn't. So this is big. But Rhys, I can't believe you've never seen any of Kevin Smith films. Yes, he is. Yeah.
Is Dogma one of his?
It is.
I've seen
Yeah,
Dogma. Dogma's actually very funny.
It is.
And I feel like I've tried to sit down and watch potentially Jay and Silent Bob or Clerks 1.
Clerks 1 is amazing just for what it is as well, like how it got made and the way success and Sundance and stuff. It's quite remarkable. But I love him as a person. I think as a podcaster and a speaker, you can't get better than Kevin Smith.
Oh no, his enthusiasm is really infectious. I mean, I went to he recorded a Babylon podcast in Manchester earlier this year, and I could just sit and listen to him talk for hours. I mean, he was talking about the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, and he was talking about Clerks 3 as well, about how he didn't think at that point Clerks 3 was actually going to get made, so he used what he had in Clerks 3 and sort of used bits of that.
Oh, really?
In Jay and Silent Bob reboot, so he's actually writing so he's writing he's writing the Clerks 3 screenplay from scratch. Start it all again.
I think I will be first in queue for Clerks 3. I have to say, I think he'll do what he does normally, put it on a small release, and he'll go on for all of it, probably, and then hopefully get to see him live and do some talking. Because I still, YouTube his stuff all the time, and I think he'd be a wonderful person to interview because he just talks all the time. Yeah, transcribing that would be awful.
Yeah, you'd not be able to shut him up.
And our third and final piece of news this week is that the Death of the Nile Kenneth Branagh film cast was announced. Now, I'm quite surprised that a sequel got made of this, to be honest. I thought it was an okay film. The best thing about it was the cast. I think that seems to be the way they're selling it, definitely from the release. So I should probably name some names.
Yeah.
So obviously there's Kenneth Branagh's back, but hopefully with his big tash. Maybe a different design this time compared to the last one. Because it was magnificent. And I've got a beard myself. I'm quite jealous of it. There's Armie Hammer, Gal Gadot. If I said that right, probably wrong. Letitia Wright. Is
Mhm.
that right?
Yeah.
Annette Bening, Tom Bateman,
Yep.
Rose Leslie, Dawn French, Jennifer Saunders, Russell Brand, Emma McKay, Ali Fasal, and Sophie Okonda. Is that completely wrong? But I think this time with the cast, they've gone a little less starry. I think they've actually signed up some up and coming names more compared to relying on Johnny Depp and the Judi Dench. What do you think?
I was saying earlier, it is such a mixed cast. I mean, you've got French and Saunders, which
Fantastic.
I, you told me this time last year that French and Saunders have been reuniting in a film.
Who
I
hasn't
would
done a
have
film
believed
in a
you. And then you've
while?
got them next to Russell Brand, who I can only assume is going to. Yeah, and I can only assume he's going to play like the most eccentric character in the film, and I reckon he might be a scene stealer.
I don't like him, so I worry that he's going to really grate on me with his classic like over the top style.
Which one do you think the murderer is going to be?
Army Hammer. I think Army Hammer. He's going to play the suave, really rich American guy.
It's a boat. It's
on
a
the
train.
Not on the train in Egypt.
They're definitely travelling. So
sorry, confusing films.
Yeah. When's this released? October 2020.
Yeah.
So, and see if all our
Oh,
predictions
in a
were
year's
right.
time, we'll reunite for the Death and Round podcast.
They must be started filming it now by now. Then,
To be fair, the Murder on the Orient Express trailer was a damn good trailer.
There was a good trailer.
That's the only reason I went to see the film. As the trailer sort of went down the carriage and showed all the cast, and it was Imagine Dragons or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's the only reason I went to see the film was because of that trailer.
Okay, guys. So now it's our time for our main review, which this week is Joker. In Gotham City, mentally troubled comedian Arthur Fleck embarks on a downward spiral of social revolution and bloody crime. This path brings him face to face with his infamous alter ego, the Joker. Now, this film is directed by Todd Phillips, who made the Hangover films and Old School and most recently War Dogs. It's written by him and Scott Silver. It stars Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, or Arthur Fleck, I should probably say. Rob De Niro, Zazie Beetz. Hopefully, I've said her name right as well. Have we mentioned Robert De Niro? Okay, so it stars Joaquin Phoenix, Robert De Niro, Zazie Beetz, Francis Conroy, Brett Cullen, and that's pretty much it from names. Mark Maron as well. He's in a quick scene. Okay, so I should point out to the people that are going to listen to this podcast that this is going to be a spoiler-rific podcast. This film has probably been the most talked about movie this year. Would you agree on that? Apart from maybe Endgame and Star Wars. I was thinking about it beforehand that I've never seen so many pictures from a set. From not like film magazines or film websites, but from like actual proper newspapers of giving away spoilers and what he looks like and him in his clown outfit and stuff on set. Tom, what did you think of this movie?
Honestly, going in, I wasn't sure what to expect. Obviously everything being said about it before, and there was a script leaked at one point, weren't there, as well, like one of the early scripts. No, I didn't. I avoided it at all costs. But I often saw people sort of doing vague tweets about it and things like that. So yeah, so I literally only like watched the trailer once and then left it before going in. But yeah, the film, it's.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. Enjoying it's a different. I mean, I think Rhys really nailed it in the last sentence of his review, where he said
in a 1,000-word review, the last sentence is fine.
No, the last sentence, I think, where you said it's not a film that you go in that you enjoy. it's a film you experience kind of thing. Because I didn't sit there the whole time thinking, yeah, this is great, watching him do all that. But it was, I felt as soon as I left the cinema, I was like, I need to go watch that again, just because of for a lot of it, I was just sat there so uncomfortable at what was unraveling and what was happening, that it was, the second, I thought as soon as I left the cinema, I was like, I need to sort of experience that again and
have you
see
seen
if,
it again?
knowing what I know, will I still feel the same watching it? I haven't. No, I was planning to go yesterday. I was planning to go yesterday before the podcast to see if it was any different, but I haven't had a chance.
And Rhys, obviously we should. You loved it, didn't you? Is this your film of the year?
I did. Completely loved it, yeah. It's a very, very close call between this and Endgame. I know that sounds very film bro-ish of me. But I just think, and yeah, well, I don't think so either. I just think Endgame, in terms of a moment of experiencing a film that monumental and putting everything together, I thought was incredible. But in terms of filmmaking and craft and performances and music and script, and I thought
We
Joker
should probably
was
talk
phenomenal.
about Joaquin Phoenix.
I really did,
because I think for me he is. I'm gonna. I'll tell you where I sit on the whole liking it or dislike. I'm not. I'm not crazy in love with it, like probably you are, Rhys, and probably not as not where Tom sits either. I think it's okay. I don't think it's anything special. Like, I think he puts in an incredible performance. I think the music is brilliant. I think that's does such a good service to the whole film. I was listening to it today, and it's so good. Um, oh, at some bits, there's bits like the Jaws music when he's starting to unravel, and I thought, oh, here we go. And it, just for me, it never really. I know this is going to sound mental because the ending is pretty crazy, but it really never really took off. There was bits when I thought, okay, here we go, here we go. Not maybe because I was expecting a different kind of Joker, maybe. Um, but I just didn't. I didn't think the script was brilliant. Uh, I thought you could see where he got his influences from, where Todd Phillips got his influences from, because I watched The King of Comedy the other day.
Yeah, I watched that the night before I went to see it. Yeah,
It's got
I
his
watched King
DNA
of
all
Comedy
over it.
for the first time the night before I went to see Joker on Cameron's recommendation. Yeah, cheers,
Yeah,
Cam.
it's my yeah, me too. Thanks, Cam. Um, yeah, it's. And did you watch Taxi Driver as well then?
I didn't before the film. I've seen it before a couple of times, but I didn't watch it just before the film. No.
And then
yeah.
did you think that the violence was necessary? Did you think there was too much violence? Were you expecting more violence? Because for the week running up to this was released, all that was on the bloody newspapers and news was that people walking out and people were shocked by it. Uh, and I honestly was watching it and thinking, there's nothing here I haven't seen before. Like I like the whole train scene. I thought that was a strong scene. And you could just see that's the birth of the Joker, where he finally breaks. But compared to other films, like I was thinking today that, like when in Drive, when that guy gets his head stamped in, or Cell Block 99, these things are much more graphic. Or Bone Tomahawk, anything like that is a lot more graphic than what we saw in Joker.
But then I think the difference between those three, like Bone Tomahawk especially, I think they're a bit more. I don't want to say cartoonish, but they're a bit more fantastical violence, aren't they? Like they're much more on the extreme end of the spectrum, whereas Joker is just a guy shooting people and a guy stabbing people, which is a bit more grounded,
Yes,
I guess, in terms
right.
of violence anyway.
Do you think that I've got to talk about the whole mental health angle as well? Do you think that was handled well, or did you like where? Because normally Joker backgrounds that is either what is it? Nicholson fell in the the chemicals. It's like that in the cartoons as well. Am I wrong or
Yeah.
right? I'm not really a expert on the history of the Joker. I'm not quite sure.
I'm not really either, to be honest. I do believe the pool of acid thing is quite a famous trope, though. I think that isn't that how Letter did it as well. in his
Who, sorry?
lovely
Ledger?
Joker incarnation.
Oh, yeah.
Jared Leto.
I
Didn't he
forgot about him.
dive into
Yes,
the?
I think he did. And obviously,
Yeah.
we don't know how the whole Heath Ledger one. He never really reveals how he got his scars. But are you disappointed there was no scars?
I don't think you need them because I think that was such a Heath Ledger-ish moment, wasn't it? Because he tells two different stories, and that's kind of the point of the Joker, where you don't know where he comes from. So I don't think we needed to have his cheek slit open for it to really be like, oh, that's the Joker. Finally, I've seen him now. I've seen his cheek slit open. I now know that's the Joker officially.
Yeah.
You know.
But do you think that was necessary? The whole angle that they were going for, that they made this man, the Arthur Dent. Isn't he the guy?
Dent. He definitely does not know where his towel is. Yeah, he's a.
It's been a long week. It's only Tuesday. Do you think that they put too much bad stuff on one man to break him? If that's making sense. But so like the abuse that he got when he was young, the whole having mental health problems, getting sacked from his job, his mother dying, stuff like that. Do you not think it just went on for a bit? There's just too many things, or do you think that was totally fine?
When I watched the film, I didn't think that at all. But now you've just sat there and sort of, you've pointed him out and gone, yeah, we learn about his childhood, his laughing, and all that sort of stuff. It does sound like a lot, but I think the film manages it really well. So I think the reveal about his mum not being his mum and things like that, and his, like, we learn about his childhood, sort of just adds a bit of context to his character and what he's going through at that time, whether he remembers it or not, kind of thing. So yeah, I think, I mean, I'm completely inexperienced in this, and I've seen a lot of conversation on about it, which is good because it's opened up conversations, and I've seen a lot of people talking about both sides of the argument, and I think it's got a lot of people talking, which is good. And personally, for me, I think it handled it really well.
No.
But again, like I said, it's not something I've got a lot of experience in, so I'm just speaking on my behalf.
I felt that it approached it in a very sort of surface level analysis of the situation, where, especially when it came to him losing his funding for his therapy sessions, that was a very kind of like blasé anti-government statement to make. But I do also think that it used that very, very simple idea very well to show how the system has failed those, suffering with mental health issues. Obviously, the Joker is an extremely extreme example of someone falling by the wayside. But I think it did kind of do what it wanted to do.
I agree
in terms
with you
of
in
shining
some
a light
places.
on.
I think some places
We need to have a support system in place. I think it did
with
that
this
quite
film,
well.
it's like any other film, to be honest. It's what you take into it and what you get out of it. So if you're carrying, I don't know if you're struggling with mental health problems. I don't know if this will be a good. If you'll feel like you're being well represented. That's not a real word, is it? God, what's the word I'm thinking of? Represented. Thank you. I've been up since 5. I don't know how well you will feel that you'll be represented by this character. Hey, look, I'm struggling here. This happened to me, kind of thing. I think that's a bit unfair, though. But again, I don't know if that was the angle they're going for.
And one of the things that I was fascinated by in terms of the discussion afterwards was that there was a big argument relating to whether Arthur was a sympathetic character or not. And I remember I watched Mark Kermode's review afterwards, and he made a very, very good point, I thought, that I agree with, where he said that Arthur is not a sympathetic character, he's a pitiful character. You are meant to pity him, and you're meant to see he is in a shit situation. and you meant to
that's
just
a
kind
good
of
way of
pity that
looking at
angle
it.
in rather than feeling, oh,
He's
I
quite
get
good
why he's
on
doing
commode,
it.
isn't he?
Just meant to see, oh yeah, you see that he is in an awful
Yeah.
situation.
And I'm trying to think,
Mm.
do you? Because
He
this
is
is
very good.
making him idolize him. Is that what you're saying, that the film is not trying to put this man on a pedestal? He's not trying to make him into like an anti-hero, like maybe this is just trying to prove a point, make a point that this goes on.
Well, there's also the I'd never even considered this as a possibility, but I read afterwards that with the final scene being in Arkham Asylum, people were suggesting that the entire film was actually a figment of imagination, where him becoming this Christ figure
I
of
didn't even think of that until you
violence and
said it.
riots in
I
Gotham
don't
City
think
was actually all in his head, which I don't personally agree with,
See-
but I can definitely see the angle.
Yeah, see this is why I want to watch the film again, because when you get to that point when you learn that the dates he was going on with Zazie and all that was all in his head, that's when you sit there and think, what what have I just been watching? Has it actually happened? What is
Did you
happening?
not tell it was
Is
coming?
any of this actually happening? Kind of thing. And it was
Oh, I
definitely
did.
that was so superbly done. That when she
That reveal
It's just
was amazing.
simple.
no, not
Yeah,
at
it's
all.
just
Yeah.
How could you tell?
No, not at all.
no. That is it.
I mean,
Or is it just
I
the
mean,
fact that
I
she's
did-
hot and he's
I did find it.
not?
Is it after he does he kills the
I
three
did.
guys on the train, and you sort of see him. He's walking down the hallway, and you can tell like his posture's changed, and he's also
I don't know. I
confident.
think
And he
because
goes to the door and kisses.
no
her.
one else was
And I was
interacting
kinda
with her
like,
was my
that's
giveaway.
a bit
No one was really noticing she.
like that's.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She was always in points where
See, I
either
didn't
they were
pick up on
alone
that.
or she was sitting by herself or
That's a fair
stuff
point.
like that. Really, I was like, oh, and then I would have preferred if they didn't reveal that at all. To be honest, if that makes sense, just left it up to you, the viewer, to decide if she was not real or not. I thought that's where they were going to go for it.
If I had if I had a criticism of that reveal, I would say, I think the way that Zazie
Yeah.
Beetz' character, I think his name is Sophie, the way she
I
says,
thought,
"Oh,
yes,
you're
I
the
totally
guy
agree
down
with
the
you
hall,
there, to
aren't
be
you?"
honest. I thought it was a bit predictable.
They could have
at that
left
point.
it at that. They didn't have to show us all the
It
clips,
was
kind of from his point of view.
it was a bit too easy. If that makes sense. What is her name? Her name is Sophie. You're right, Sophie Drummond. I thought she was all going to be fake, and then I was thinking, oh, hang on, he did interact with her daughter at one point, and that was the only piece I was questioning. Did he make her up as well? But he didn't, obviously. I was very wrong.
I want to know what you thought that day, because you're obviously not as hot on it as I am. But I remember watching that with my friend, and I was completely jaw dropped, mouth agape the entire time.
Yeah.
Just watching this monologue.
Again, did you not think that was coming?
Joaquin Phoenix, until the final line that he does where he shoots De Niro in the head was just
it is a fantastic performance. I think he's. I'm not saying I didn't like the film at all. What was his final line? The one about the mental health. Do anyone have that written down?
Oh, he tells a joke. I know the finishing line is "You get what you fucking deserve," but it was a line between "What do you get if you cross?"
I think that was a
with
bit too on the
mental health
nose,
issues and something else.
To be honest, he probably could just shot him, and we would have gathered what was going on.
Yeah.
We could have. I think he is the Joker. But then the other day, Todd Phillips said saying that this might not be that Joker. The Joker might be based on this man or something or other. And I'm really confused now. So, did I watch a Joker origin film, or did I just watch a normal film? Do you think they're going to link this to the Robert Pattinson, or do you think this is going to? Okay, next question. This has now made shitloads of money, right? And it's probably going to make 500 plus million. So they're going to want possibly a sequel.
We need to get Todd. Where is he?
Right?
No, yeah, it got brought up in the group chat the other day that Todd had said. They said that it could be anyone, but I'm sure a few months before the film came out, there was a conversation surrounding it, saying that because of everything that happens, that he could have inspired the actual Joker.
I've kind of operated on the idea that this kind of Joker film was part of DC Dark or something, where they had like a separate offshoot universe. Yeah. And I also think that based on the Birds of Prey trailer, for example, that Harley Quinn is, as Margot Robbie plays her, is far too cheery and happy for Joker to,
especially this Joker,
kind of fall in love with. Yeah, exactly. So they would probably go another whole different realm. But then that's also, so we're going from mental health to going on to abuse, and I'm not sure if that's the route that Todd Phillips would want to take a film. But I don't know. I can't see Joaquin Phoenix coming back for a sequel. I think he put so much into this one film, and then he's gonna be like, "Yeah, Joker's done. I'll move on to my next project."
Yeah, you see, I did half expect there to be a Harley and Quinzel sort of cameo at the end. Where he's talking to the therapist at the end. I did half expect it to pan around and it would be, a youngish blonde doctor kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know if I really don't think this film needs a sequel. I think it's on its own. I think they should just leave it alone because DC at the minute they've got a habit of ruining a good thing. To put it lightly.
I think getting an actor like Phoenix was an absolute masterstroke. To be honest, there's very few actors that give you that performance and give you basically you hire him for a movie, you seem to get him mind, body, and soul. There's no half-assing about. He will transform himself completely into the role, and honestly, this one's quite scary. How how deep he goes. It's a true transformation of a character, and from A to B as well. From the start of the film, when you think he's a little bit, yeah, he's got his problems, but he'll make it. To the end, when you think, oh no, he is completely off his fucking mind.
His body transformation as well. I think that added so much to some of the scenes. Like there's a bit where is it when he first gets the gun and he's just sort of laying back on the sofa with his arms up and you can just see his ribs, and it's just that added so much to the character and to the scene. It was really, yeah. At the minute we've been sort of spoiled for choice with comic films, um, but I think this was a much needed film. I think just to sort of show that it doesn't all have to be CGI fests and have everyone in one film kind of thing. This was just sort of like a character study of this one villain we've known in pop culture for years. And I know I think I can remember when it was first announced that there was a Joker film happening. The possibilities people came out with, like the theories and things. I mean, they could have gone in multiple directions with that film, but I think they were onto a winner here. And I think the question is then whether because there's such a back catalogue of characters in DC Comics that they could sort of do grounded films like that with, because I'm sure they've already got ideas floating around for sort of Scarecrow and things like that. Some characters that might not have, because I mean Jokers we've seen a handful of people play the Jokers in live action, and he's such a well known villain. So whether they then go forward and try and do a similar sort of film with maybe a lesser known villain or man bat something. Well, I mean, come on, Sony are doing Morbius.
Right, I'm going to read out some reviews from some of our followers on Twitter. Okay, I'm going to try and so Ben Payton reviews. Loved it. Bleak, vicious, and bruising. It might be a slow burner, but the punchline is well worth waiting for. Something scary. His name is so long, it's not even part. Oh, it's Halloween, yeah. Okay, it's Movie Guy 1982. Okay, A film with no affection for the character or lore, it is piggybacking off. Painted in broad strokes are about as subtle as a sledgehammer to the face. Rhys, what do you think?
I did read that earlier actually, and I don't think subtlety has a place in a Joker film. I don't think the character is someone who needs any kind of subtlety or restraint or nuance in terms of who he is, because he's so anarchistic. Is that a word? He's just so
You're doing better than me.
yeah. He's so chaotic, and he's just so needlessly, randomly violent that I don't think subtlety really comes into play. But I do get the point. I do get his point that it was all very surface level. I do understand that completely.
Yes, I think it was all a bit surface level as well. Till the nose. Okay, I've got another one from Cara. Loved Joaquin's performance more than anything. Also loved the ambiguity of the ending since it plays so well with the character that I didn't always know where it ended up.
Mm-hmm.
Felt like some of the music cues were a little unnecessary and over the top in certain parts, however. I don't know if I agree with that. I thought the music was the best part. But saying that, she is talking about the needle drop on the stairs.
Yeah. Let's not go into that.
100%. Yeah, they could have picked any other song in the world. Okay, one from Ian Young again. Very much resonated to me as a horror film in the mold of Psycho. Phoenix's performance was nothing short of genius. So most of the comments we got were pretty much about Phoenix and how good he was.
Yeah,
it was.
I agree.
I think that's what takes this level for me from a normal film to a good film.
I was completely swept up in it all. I just found the entire thing so engrossing and captivating from the very, very first frame that I was completely on board with it from literally second one. So, yeah, definitely my favorite film of the year so far.
Okay, well, I would not go that high. Me too. I would probably go about 3.5, to be honest.
Still a 7 out of 10.
I had out of 5. 3.5. So maybe average, we'd all give it about a 4.
Yeah.
But
oh dear.
I would recommend people watch this film, but I don't think I'll go back to it for a while.
See, I think I'm planning on seeing it at least twice more.
Really? Wow. I don't think it's going to get any better.
Well, I'm curious that I think, like Tom said earlier, I'm curious to go back to it now that I know about the Sophie situation and all that. I'm curious to see if there are more obvious signs earlier in the film before we get to the moment.
Okay.
For example.
Yeah. Okay. So as we're talking about Joaquin Phoenix, are there any other performances or that really stand out from his career that you guys think make? Because he is a fantastic actor. What are your favourite performances? You can pick more than one if you want. Who wants to start? Do you reckon we're all going to say the same one?
I don't think so. Because I'm going to say because I'm in my notes when I was planning for this. I wrote down 2 films that I wanted to talk about because I've got a favorite film and a favorite performance. And my favorite performance is You Were Never Really Here. I think that is it's very Joker-esque in the sense that it's a guy that does lots of violent things, but it's such a different role because he is such a different kind of character, and he looks so different in the film that he really, really dominates the screen completely. And also, that film is also brilliant anyway. But my favourite film of his is definitely Signs. I know that's fueled by...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know it's fueled by nostalgia. But I remember watching Signs in the cinema with my mum and my brother as a kid. And I remember...
Bless you.
Yeah, I remember A, being completely terrified by it, and B, couldn't wait to see it again. I thought it is fantastic, and it is, for me, it's Shyamalan's best film. Gonna put that out there. So
I think I agree with you on that one. I loved it. When you first see the alien step away from the bush.
Oh,
I
watched that on YouTube today, and it's still excellent. It is still great. There's even, I forgot as well in that scene when it's like, because it's a news broadcast, isn't it? And he's trying to see what's going down the alleyway. There's kids in the camera, and then Joaquin Phoenix literally goes, "Move, children, vamonos!" I forgot how funny that film is. Oh, it's great.
You forget sometimes he can be so funny.
Yeah.
Okay. I both great shouts there, to be honest. I thought you were going to say Gladiator, but neither of you. That's the first thing I remember seeing him in, and catching my attention. Tom, what are your favourites?
So yeah, I'm gonna have to echo Rhys there with "You Were Never Really Here." That that was one of my favorite films of 2017. But yeah, I'm staring at his IMDb now, and there is so much I've not seen him in. To say I'm a massive fan of his.
Which ones? Which ones haven't you seen? And we'll try and
It'd be easy to tell you which ones I have. I mean, for example, I haven't seen Her. Now I know, no, I know that film would absolutely break me if I watched it. I know what it's about. I've seen gifs, I've seen pictures. I just can't bring myself to watch it. It's going to absolutely break me, and I will do it one day, but I can't. I don't think I'm ready for it yet.
It's very good. I will say that. It's a
great
very good
film.
film.
Spike Jones.
Yeah.
I'm about to say Spike Lee, but it's not. Spike Jones.
Spike Jones.
And he was good in Walk the Line as well. I loved that.
That was going to be my pick. I think I'm a big Johnny Cash fan. I think him as Johnny Cash is just absolutely perfect. And I think he actually did the singing for it as well, which is even more amazing. I think he again, that's what Joaquin Phoenix does. He becomes that character that he plays. And I think him as Johnny Cash is just. I think that's his best role. People will probably disagree with me. Like you say, he's done many good roles. I enjoyed him. Did you see last year the Sisters Brothers?
No.
I enjoyed it. I think it shows off his funny side a little bit. It's quite dark, but it's still very funny.
It's quite a good looking cast, that as well, isn't it? Is it Riz Ahmed and is Jake Gyllenhaal in that?
Jake Gyllenhaal and John C. Reilly.
Yeah,
It's not that.
Yeah, I think it got a very small release last year, and I missed it.
It's definitely worth hunting out, I would say. I saw it at the London Film Festival. But it's brilliant. But yeah, Walk the Line, I would say, is definitely fun. And I think, I know I've said it earlier, but Gladiator, him as, what was his name?
Commodus, yeah.
Commodus?
Yeah.
That's probably my best one I've said all night. What an impact he makes. He is truly terrifying and sinister and really creepy. Okay, I believe that is now us done for this episode. Thanks to my brilliant guests, Rhys. What's your Twitter handle, and have you got anything to plug?
I've got nothing to plug apart from, I guess, my Joker review, which I am actually quite proud of that. So if you want to hear more of my thoughts, you can go to see that on the JumpCut online website. But my Twitter handle is good luck spelling it. It's RBJ. So I'm sure if you just find the tweet on our JumpCast Twitter, you'll probably find it there. A bit easier to just click it rather than try and spell it out.
Lovely. It's definitely worth a read. Like all of our reviews,
Absolutely.
to be honest. Absolutely. Also, thanks to our editor-in-chief, our supreme leader, the one we all follow. Thank you, Tom.
No, thank you. It's been a good podcast first experience. This.
Yeah, it's been positive.
Yeah.
What's your Twitter handle, and have you got anything to plug?
So mine is CyberChef, and the only thing I've got to plug really is JumpCut. Yeah, we've got. I ain't got a SoundCloud, so I can't drop that. So, but yeah, I mean,
not dropping a new album anytime soon or anything.
Not in the pipeline at the minute now.
That's 2020's project. It's fine.
Yeah, that's where we're going in the future.
Mixtape.
Oh, could you imagine? Well, thank you both. Also, from me, my Twitter handle is @HelloDaveCurtis, which is meant to be a play on the Hello Dave from 2001, but no one's picked up on it yet.
I legitimately
that's fine.
did not know that.
I thought it was a League of Gentlemen reference.
That's all I got when I was young. Hello, Dave. Your mother now, Dave. Yes, it was either that or I can't do that to you, Dave. But yeah, I've got a few reviews dropping this week or next week, over the next few weeks, to be honest. I've got Gemini Man, look out for that. That's I think it's been released, the film, on the 10th, so by the time this come out, the film should have come out, and you would have all realised it is rubbish. Also, spoil. It's an interesting watch. It's not completely awful, as it's a bit harsh, but it's definitely not one of my favourites of the year. Also, dropping a lot of London Film Festival from me and some of the other JumpCut crew, from Sarah and Daryl and Holly. And it's gonna, just keep on following us on JumpCast and on JumpCut. And next week, or next episode, it's not next week, next episode, it's a very special episode because it's our first one from our American hosts, from Audrey, Jeff, and Jess, and they are going to bring reviews of Jojo Rabbit and The Lighthouse.
I'm so jealous of that episode.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
So it's a goodbye from me. Adios. A goodbye from Rhys.
Goodbye.
Brilliant. A goodbye from Tom. Goodbye. Goodbye from Tom.
Goodbye.
Until next time, dear friends, when hopefully we'll be back. Carry on listening, carry on watching films, and having all the fun. Bye-bye.